We are live. We are alive. It's a privilege to be alive. It's a privilege to be here. Watch the sunrise. The fresh air. All the colors. So bright and blue.
Yeah.
This one's so calm.
I know.
This is rare.
Right?
She's enjoying this moment just as much as we are.
Yeah. I just wonder what her take is on all of this.
The same. She probably feels the same way we do. Just differently. Doesn't communicate it.
I'm sure of course it has to be different. But she's never seen a beach. She doesn't know the sand like this.
Interesting.
So this is her first time experiencing all of this. So what surprised me is about how I guess it's strongly believed that there's going to be a civil war soon. How did you think that already?
That there's going to be a civil war? No, I don't think there's going to be a civil war. We're too advanced. We're too informed.
Yeah, I do think that, the regular people or the average people, the working class is going to we're going to evolve.
Will the United States devolve into a civil war?
I don't think so.
There are, yes, divisiveness exists, but I don't think it's
does.
worse than it used to be. I think it seems worse. The media makes it out to be worse, but this is a far better time to be alive than in the 60s.
Right.
In the 60s, we had real division. None of this play stuff we're doing here.
And blind division. People would choose sides and they really don't even get it.
They don't understand what they're fighting for. People were less informed back then than we are now.
I mean, there would be these intelligent people who came up with certain ideas, and then they would just, really manipulate people into joining them. The masses who were involved in any kind of movement, I don't think that they really knew what they were doing. Sometimes they did, but I don't know if everyone did.
Also, back then, you can commit crimes and no one will ever know. No one will ever find you. People died and there was no trace of them. There was no way to find them. DNA evidence didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of people who spend time digging into that rabbit or going down that rabbit hole of conspiracy theory will at some point in their life find out that they wasted time doing that. There's so much of this world to experience, so much positivity to indulge yourself in.
There's so much information out there that you can be soaking in instead of just going through conspiracy theories. And I mean, that's really toxic to me.
You can be the change that you want to see in this world.
Yeah.
You should change yourself. Look at yourself. Make better of yourself,
You can spend time doing that. It's already hard in itself to share love or spread empathy or just bring value to others. That in itself is a lot of work. If, say for instance, you decided to spend a lot of your time fighting for, I don't know, social justice or any one of the development goals, the SDG goals, like fix hunger, health, water crisis. If you picked any one of those things and you said, okay, I'm going to spend the rest of my life focused on this one thing, you would have contributed far more to the world than any 1 minute that you spend indulging in conspiracy theory.
Right.
And that time that you spend in conspiracy theory does not add anything to the world.
It doesn't. It's just you, I don't know, becoming afraid of something, and if you take it too far, I guess you're gonna start preparing for it.
Yeah, you're gonna find yourself one of those preppers.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend my time contributing positively and bringing value to others than indulging in conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theories have always existed, and I think they will always exist. that's our way of coping as humans.
And are there higher powers conspiring against the masses? I mean, yeah, I think so. Right? But
Even
I
with
don't
that,
even know how much power they really have.
that's what
I mean,
that's what I was about to say. I think that even on that note, in terms of like there's an elite power that's trying to oppress us, I think that it's just when you have a large number of people, then it seems like they're all
If you're-
conspiring.
right.
There's a lot of wealthy people, a lot of billionaires, and most billionaires don't like to give up the power that they have.
Right.
So when you have 100 billionaires fighting not to give away the power that they have,
They're
then
working hard to keep everyone cheap and falling in line and all that. I get that.
then it seems like they're all conspiring to keep oppression going.
They probably are. I don't think that's not a possibility. I'm pretty sure that's happening. But the thing is, the internet is waking people up. The masses, the most average people are becoming well informed, and decentralization is where we're moving to. And eventually, regular people are not really going to be governed by, by these billionaires. At some point, they're going to be able to build their own wealth and be free on their own.
I think that eventually that people are going to realize that they have more power than they actually think they do. We have more tools and resources than we've ever had available to us. Other generations will wish that they live in the times that we live right now.
Right.
And we live in that time and we're still complaining.
Right.
So some of us need to just pause and just appreciate life. Just live. Just be here.
Or appreciate what you have. Because
So-
we do have tools that can really... I mean, we have clearly, especially if you look back like a month ago, what happened with GameStop. I mean, we have tools to take people down if we really wanted to.
Mhm.
We really could. I think people are realizing their power now. Just starting to. And in the future, there isn't going to be that control anymore.
This idea that there's an oppressive power that's fighting, meeting every day to keep everyone down. I think if you let them, they will. But
Yeah, if you do.
if you seize your power, and our power comes from community building, when you find like-minded people who are on the path to achieving success and providing value, if you align yourself with those people and you go about spending most of your time creating, I just don't see how you can lose in the long run.
Right.
But if you spend a lot of your time reading conspiracy theories, reading about UFOs, reading about how 5G is going to cause cancer, if you keep going down that rabbit hole, then you're going to be stuck there and you're going to be living in fear. You're going to find out that you're not creating anything. And I find that you're probably going to be miserable because
everything is against you.
And not only that everything is against you, you also have no power to influence change.
Yeah.
You're helpless. So I don't want to live a life just thinking that I can't influence my environment, or I have no control over influencing my environment. I don't want to feel that way. That's a depressing state of mind. I'd rather focus on what's positive. I mean, don't get me wrong, those conspiracy theories, they're juicy. Those stories can get really interesting.
Sometimes it's like, whoa, oh my God. And you think your mind is open sometimes. And you're like, it all makes sense. Oh my God.
I know listening to Brian Rose on, what's the name of his show again?
London Real.
Yeah, London Real. And he had, what's his name?
David Icke.
He had David Icke on. That interview was so juicy and so interesting. I was like, man, there's no way this guy's telling the truth, not telling the truth.
But the thing is, like, he's not giving proof or anything. He's just so confident in what he believes.
But, like they say, that where there's smoke, there's fire. there might be some elements of truth to what he's
I'm
saying.
sure there is, but then sometimes he goes a bit extreme. And I'm like, well, if you're gonna really make certain vast claims, like maybe you should provide some evidence.
You have the burden of proof here.
Yeah.
But I'm not sitting around waiting for it. I got things
Right.
to do. I
Yeah.
got businesses to build. I have relationships to form and nurture. We have a baby to bring into this world. Like,
Yeah.
there's things to do. I don't have
We're
time.
busy.
We're busy, man.
We can't be sitting on these theories and going, oh no, what do we do? How do we prepare?
I don't want to be sitting here worried about some Build-A-Bear or some guy, some woo-woo monster that's trying to
Take us all
take
down.
us.
Or keep us in cages.
What in the world?
We're already working on not being in a cage.
This,
We're already working on our own freedoms.
the world is tough as it is, you know. It's
Yeah.
focus on how to get yourself and your community a better life, or bring your community value. Focus on that,
Right.
you know. Why don't you focus on that? Leave all the fear mongering behind.
It doesn't serve you.
No, hell no. So that's my take on conspiracy theories. I think that they're a waste of time for the most part. I'm more interested in changing my identity, changing the person that I've told myself so many years that this is who I am. I want to become somebody else.
Who did you tell yourself you were in the past?
Growing up in Nigeria, growing up through the struggle, coming here and having to fight for everything that I have and earn every dollar, worked all those hours. You know, you're just on your feet for 12 hours working in the ER. No one asks you whether you've had lunch. You go into work at 11 p.m., at 7 p.m. for a 12-hour shift that ends at 7 a.m. And it's 4 a.m. and no one has asked you if you've gotten lunch.
So you're the man that embraces struggle?
I've always had to
You've always had to
go
struggle.
to struggle
And go an
for
extra
everything.
mile.
And I thought that's how life is. This is just how it's supposed to be. I'm trying to break out of that and just tell myself that there's enough. There's more, there's an abundance out there. And even if it means not being a nurse, it's okay. The same way I became a nurse, I picked up that identity, I can pick up a different identity. I can be a realtor tomorrow. I can be a videographer tomorrow. I can be anything. You know, if the goal is money, because money should not be the goal. My happiness and
your quality of
well-being
life.
and quality of life should be the goal. And if that's the goal, then I can
Wherever you find fulfillment should be fine.
exactly. You know,
Yeah,
I can make money
get
just
that.
doing that, whatever the heck that thing is. You know, so that's what I'm working hard at right now. Because it's hard to step out of that cage when you've been in it for so long.
Yeah, you tie your worth to something, and if you're not experiencing struggle, or you don't feel like you're providing more value than what, you know, people pay you for, or you feel like you're not really going all out, or then you feel like you're being worthless.
Do you know how many people are tied to their careers because they think that's who they're supposed to be? There are
People who are
accountants.
tied to all the duties or the things that they think are their duties. Like, even just like if you feel like you're supposed to raise people, or take care of your siblings and do whatever your father says or something, you know, and that's what you tie your worth to.
And you just keep doing that just
So
because.
if one day you do, and you're miserable,
Uh-huh.
but one
You
day
hate
you
it.
don't, one day you decide that, you know what, I'm gonna, instead of doing what dad says, I'm gonna make up an excuse and I'm gonna take myself out and have fun. And you feel so guilty because you tie your worth to, you know, being miserable and doing what you're supposed to do, or what you think you're supposed to do.
I'm tired of living my life under other people's rules.
Right.
I'm gonna make my own rules. Whether I fail or succeed, they're my own rules. That's where I am right now.
Yeah.
And I hear other people tell these stories all the time and how they pull themselves out of that cage. And a lot of them, they're successful. However they choose to measure that success, they are successful. It might be a failure to you, but to them, it's a success. Because success is not measured by money. And for so long, I've thought that's what it is. Like, okay, you have to reach a certain amount of money.
That's what you've always...
And then you're successful. You know?
I think success is achieving the goal that you set out for.
Yeah, that goal can be anything. Society needs to stop making rules. As long as you're not harming anyone or you're not harming yourself, you should be allowed to be. But society is like, there's all these people who have achieved a level of misery, and they want everybody to join them in that misery.
Like, this is how it's supposed to be. I did this because it's what I'm supposed to do. You have to do it too.
I went to college for
These are the rules.
for 20 years, and I have all these letters next to my name. You must do the same.
Got the house, the car. Now my kids have to do the same thing, and if they don't, then I'm disappointed. Then they're a disappointment.
Okay, let's take an audit of your life. Your kids, you have all those letters next to your name. You have all these accolades, but your kids hate you. You've missed all the important times, all important dates of you have a miserable life because every day, every day, you're working for somebody else. You don't have a good work-life balance. Your spiritual life is in the critters. Like, are you really successful? There are people on TV who think that they're like, oh yeah, I'm an anchor on this TV show and I've been doing it for the past 20 years, so I'm it. But when you peep deeper or you look closer to their lifestyle, they're probably addicted to alcohol. They have terrible relationships. They
could have a lot of problems.
They have a lot of problems that they're hiding. But outwardly, they project this image of, look at Matt Lauer. For so many years, Matt Lauer was the shit. Like, he was the guy. You turn on Good Morning America, whatever show it was that he was hosting, and he was that guy. Like, he got the opportunity to interview the highest profile individuals because he was the quintessential American man. You know what I mean? He came down in flames. You know his story?
No, what happened?
Well, it was in the height of the Me Too movement, and he was victim to it. He was accused by
Victim.
he was accused by a bunch of women that he worked with of sexual assault.
Okay.
And he immediately got canceled. I say he was victim because I don't believe in canceling people. That man, no matter what egregious what he did, he's still human. And I think people deserve redemption, especially if they're remorseful of their act.
Yeah, if you're remorseful and like I don't know, well, I guess he has a lot to make up then if he did some things.
Well, let's give him that opportunity. I don't believe in like, oh, these women accused you of sexual assault, then X. Everything that you've done in your whole life, X. You go hide under a rock somewhere and never come out. No human being has a right to do that. Because none of us are flawless. We all have skeletons in our closets. You know?
Yeah.
If someone took a camera and followed us around all day, they will find out things that you're not proud of showing in public.
I'm sure.
So, yes, he did wrong things. And the reason we know him is because he's a public figure. But I think he needs to be given an opportunity for redemption. I also like that it happened because it poked a hole in that fancy image that he had for so long, you know. It's not perfect. And for so long you always had these news anchors. They call it public court trial by the media. Whenever someone does something wrong, you get this media personalities that puff off and how despicable an act these
Well, were there
people.
lawsuits against this guy?
I don't know if there were any lawsuits, but he lost his job, and he divorced. Him and his wife divorced, and he's been quiet. There's nothing. No one knows. Only people, his close circles, know about him. Even hardcore criminals deserve redemption.
Yeah, over time, and they make up for it.
Make up for it. Pay
That's
your
true.
pay your
dues.
dues to society and
Yeah.
redeem yourself. But I don't.
But I think it takes a lot of time, especially if your crime was pretty bad. So.
Whatever you want to call it, we all deserve redemption.
Yeah.